So we are back. We are happening. It is all part of everything. Let me switch the thing. It's all just black right now. So welcome back, everybody. Some of you were just watching the game. Some of you were just in the game, and we are now starting our 45th episode of the Sunday Night Show. A little bit late because the game ran over. And this is All Things Fantasy Grounds Talk Show. Oh, it turns out Boffrin did buy something an hour ago in the chat. I just didn't hear it. That's so bad. I'll have to refund him. So, welcome to our post-game show. We are here with our co-hosts, Leroon and Furied Fate. How are you guys doing?
I'm good.
I'm doing great. I have some dried pineapple and it's delicious. So yeah, I'm gonna be all hopped up on sugar.
That's good. All hopped up on sugar. And before we get to our guests, I would just like to remind everybody that our Sunday night show, All Things Fantasy Grounds Talk Show, is meant to teach and help, but the opinions stated by all of us on the show are in no way affiliated with Smiteworks, LLC, USA, CWS, TUV, WXY, ABC, CBS, NBC, and Fox, or Fantasy Grounds. It's just us talking, and we're not official. And so I'd like to welcome my guests who are back from the previous game, and that would be Kilgore, Chris from GTW, and Voss. And Alex is back. Okay, good. So all four of the players are here. So welcome, guys. Thanks for playing today. I hope you had fun.
Hey, thanks for hosting it.
Yeah, ditto, man. Did have fun, Rob. Cheers.
Yes, I
Cool.
did. I don't get to play 5e too much.
Yeah, so we the game went longer than it should have, and I thought that was fantastic. I know some people probably didn't particularly think that was a favorite thing, but a 2.5 hour combat and basically a 5x50 grid was amazing to me. I was like, oh man, this is never going to end. But you guys played that pretty well. And then you know the way that story was written is that there were guards spread all out through the complex, but they said if anybody blows a whistle, all guards from 100 feet come running, which is basically everyone in the whole place. And then I actually, because we were running too long on time, I actually did have to just delete. There were like 4 more guards, so it would have gone on another hour if we had done it. But I thought that was pretty fun, and you guys rescued the princess, so that's how it goes. So for those of you that are watching the show, if you have questions about the game, or if you just have questions about Fantasy Grounds, this is kind of just a free-for-all hangout show after, post game. So we don't really have any specific subject matter or anything like that. If the players would like to proffer subjects, or if you guys want to talk about anything, you can certainly bring that up, and we'll just kind of do a sort of a free-for-all and answer people's questions and talk about whatever it is we're going to talk about.
Well, I was hoping I can get you interested in playing Pathfinder so you can get some effects. That's a joke.
So so in regards to Pathfinder, Gwydion had started the PF2 playtest with us, and we played that about, I think, 3 or 4 times. We did a little bit of it in Whistler, if I recall, and maybe I don't recall that right. But we were doing it on Wednesday nights, and he wanted to take a little bit of a break to get some more stuff together and get it ready. And I have started 5e pickup games, which we did for a year, and then we stopped it in December and brought it back like 10 months later. And first session was okay. Second session we canceled last Wednesday because only one person showed up. So this coming Wednesday, if we don't get people show up, I'm going to just cancel it all together, probably forever. And if that happens, we might go back to Pathfinder 2 playtest stuff. But I'm going to have to, I won't make that decision until Wednesday.
Well, just a quick side ask, how did you like it, the playtest?
I thought it was fun. I had never played Pathfinder. I always like to laugh and joke about, telling the story that I've converted about 20 Pathfinder modules for Smiteworks, but I've never played the game. But I did like Pathfinder. One of the reasons I never played Pathfinder was for a couple reasons, actually. One, I just, I didn't want to add another RPG to my repertoire and then have to be like dividing my brain time all the time. But the other thing was all the horror stories about 45 splat books and making a character that can have 90 different powers and having it just be a total nightmare. But I think the Pathfinder 2nd edition, I guess they Pathfinder was out 10 years, and then now it's the 10th year or whatever, and they're doing the 2nd edition. So I think they streamed that down a lot and made it a little bit better. Gwydion was an excellent person to sort of drip that info to us and help us build our characters and sort of bring us in slow. He was a good GM. At least for I don't know how the other players felt, but I the way he introduced it to us was good. It made me feel comfortable with it. So I'm excited about continuing to play it. And so yeah, we'll see. And then I don't know if you guys have seen other people streaming it on Twitch or doing YouTube stuff with Pathfinder 2. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
Only a
I've seen
little.
some.
Yep, only a little bit.
Yeah, just a little, yeah.
So I
Lady
had some
Shell-
questions.
Lady Shell says in the PF2 playtest was fun. Yeah, go ahead, Layron.
All right. So from the play that we just went through, I made some notes, and this is in no way meant to point out anything against anybody. But I want to bring up some things that maybe we could have done better, or that we can learn from, or that you can just say fuck off and die, Layru.
Don't let Flash go first.
Okay, so extensions. What happened there, Rob?
We
That
had the
sounded so accusatory. What happened there, Rob?
No, I mean a lot of people
I
weren't
know,
here for that. A lot of
I'm
people
just
weren't
kidding.
here.
I'm just...
yeah. So we put in the advanced combat, which I've said many times. I think is in theory is a very excellent extension, and it's got many. It's got like 15 different things that it does, and it's pretty awesome. One thing that I forgot.
I'm personally a big fan of advanced combat, and I am using it in my campaign.
Yeah, and so one thing I forgot that it does is there used to be a layers extension. There actually still is a layers extension, and that used to just fuck with my head relentlessly because it's not that hard. It really isn't, but I'm just some sort of like mental defective because you have to switch layers and you have to put the tokens on one and the furniture on another, and then the map is another, and it's a whole big thing. And I had forgot that was an implementation built into advanced combat. And so we started the game and the tokens didn't work and the players couldn't move their tokens, and then I had to move them to the different layer, and then the monsters weren't on the right token, and then it was all fucked up, and I'm like, you know what, fuck this. I'm not gonna, it was just gonna screw with my head for 3 hours, so I had to just shut it down. So my mistake was not knowing everything there is to know about that extension before I tried to throw it into the game. And that's a really complicated extension, and I'd like to take this opportunity again one more time to publicly call out Ken L, who A, is awesome for making that extension, but who B, is not my favorite person because he won't come on the show to talk to it. He won't come on this show. He's refused to come on to tell us about it. So the only thing we have the opportunity to do is go to the Fantasy Grounds forums and read what he's written about it. And that's kind of what he told me. He said, hey, I wrote all this stuff out. I don't need to come explain it. And, we like to give an opportunity for people to come by and talk to the audience, but he doesn't want to do it. So,
By the way, he's working on an AK too, and I don't know if you've noticed, he posted at the forums a short video of what he's trying to do, and basically he's making it like a bit more like Roll20 as regards the battle map is now part of the background of the desktop itself, and all the other things are layered on top of it, like floating windows. Looks interesting. I don't know if it will be how it will be in the end.
yeah, and I hope what doesn't happen is that he gets that all fixed, and then the next day Unity comes out and it doesn't work. I don't know how that's all going to happen, but that's everyone's big question about Unity is it going to mess with stuff like my whole coding packages. and I don't know the answer. I have no inside information as to, even though I'm a employee of the company, I do not know that information. So it may, but what I do know is that there'll be two versions of Fantasy Grounds for many years. There'll be like Fantasy Grounds Classic, which is what we have now. So everything will still work there no matter what. And then there'll be Fantasy Grounds Unity. And then the reason it's taking so long for them to develop it, and Ryan, one of the newer developers, will be on the show Friday. He'll be on the Fantasy Grounds Friday show at 9 a.m. Pacific and noon Eastern on Friday. He was supposed to be on this last week, but they're going to do it this week instead. And one of the things is that they're having to, is just what I'm talking about, which is going back with FGU and making sure that all the previous stuff works. Now, I don't think they're concerning themselves too much with things like, for example, what I do, but more the modules and, the stuff that you would buy and load it up in Fantasy Grounds. Does it work in FGU and also the same as the old one? So, we'll see what they come up with. And really, we won't know like adjustments that need to be made and all that until that day, like whenever that comes out. And he did say, I mean, we're talking about like 13 months, but Doug did confirm on the show that he was pretty positive that FGU is a 2019 thing. So
Okay.
I don't know if he meant to say before that year is over, or if he meant to say relatively quickly in 2019. But he pretty much committed that it would be out next year. And so he
Which
didn't,
is a month.
he didn't give a date. Yeah, that, like I said, it could be anywhere between January 1st and December 31st. So you don't know. And I mean, believe me,
It's a
everybody,
quantum probability thing.
yeah, everybody that's screaming about wanting to have it, including me and everybody I know, it's not like they don't want to give it to us. They just, they're being very careful, and people have to understand. I mean, I'm not a software developer, but I have friends who are, and I've been around computers since I was 11 years old. I get it. You have to go through it, and you have to test it, and you have to make sure it works, because the worst thing you can do is put something out that's a piece of garbage and doesn't work. It's much better to make people wait and have it be good, and then everybody goes, oh, okay, now it was worth it, than to put out a piece of crap 6 months early and then everybody's pissed. So that's definitely what you don't want to do.
Right. There is a joke, and I don't know if it's a joke anymore, but we have FGC, which is Fantasy Grounds Classic or Fantasy Grounds College, correct? If they ever get
Yeah.
Fantasy Grounds Unity out, it's going to be Fantasy Grounds University. So we're going to go from the college to the university.
So it's still FGU.
Nice.
I see what you're doing. I see what you did
Yep.
there.
Yep. It's coincidence.
It's just a coincidence.
So let's talk about that hex thing, Rob. What happened there?
Well, so he was using hex the old way, which is fine, and it works. And so the difference is that the way it's suggested to be used and the way I have it coded now, and I used to have it the old way, but now I have it the new way, is that you shift drag your thing onto the target, and it applies hex to you in the combat tracker, but the effects only take place if the game is dealing with that specific target. And the way he was using it was he was marking his target as hexed, and then he was using an if t custom command, which basically goes to the combat tracker, finds that target, reads the information there, and says, hey, is this guy marked as hexed? And if it is, it gives the extra dice, and if it's not, it just skips it. So they're both valid ways of doing it, but to me, it's an easier way to do it the new way, because the way he was doing it, you have to mark the target and mark yourself, whereas if you're doing it the new way, all you have to do is shift drag one thing to the target and drop it, and then it puts it on you correctly. So that's the difference.
But what happens? Yeah, here's a question though. What happens when your target you have hexed dies? What then? How do you rehex? Because hex remains on you as long as you concentrate on it, and you can switch targets. So if you reapply with shift drag, don't you add a lot of hexes on your?
No, because if the target dies, it'll come off you, and then when you say I'm gonna move my hex, you just redo it to another target.
Here's the point. You don't want it to come off you. You want it to be on you. So whenever someone strikes you, even if you've not have someone hexed, you still concentrate on it. You have to roll for concentration. The hex must remain on you at all times. You are concentrating on it.
Yeah, so here, let me go and okay, so since you asked that, I'll show you. I'll go in and
Right
get
on.
this, and we'll see.
Yeah,
So
it's
let's
good to
go
get these hashed out.
Let's go to what's that, class, right? That would be under class features. Okay, here we go. All right. You know what? First of all, I'm gonna do this push to talk crap.
So this applies to Hunter's Mark too, right?
Yeah,
Same
they're
thing?
functionally the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Hunter's Mark is the same. Okay, so once this opens up, I'll show you. I think if I remember, I did a thing where there's the effect for the target, and then there's also just a note with a parenthesis C for yourself to apply to yourself, so that it does stay there. That's the way I meant
So
to
if
do
you
it.
have if you tag yourself anyway, so why not have it with if target?
Yeah, I mean, fair point. That's a fair point. But
That's the point, because if it,
I
if
don't
it,
like the if target thing, and the only reason what makes me not like that is that it wasn't working properly for a time, and they fixed it, but the other thing has always worked. So in my mind, I just go with the thing that's better, and that's just my personal opinion, and it's also the way I code it. And the reason I do it that way is so that when I explained it to people, I can just remember one thing. I don't have to remember two things. Okay, so let's go look for this. Okay, so let's go to a character. Let's open up the test guy. Let's bring over. Whoops, what are we talking about? Hex?
yeah.
Okay, so hex. What the fuck? Oh, where is it? How come it's not open?
First one. No, it's the spell, the first one.
Yeah, but I have
It's a
armor.
spell, it's not a class feature. It's a spell.
Oh, it
You
is a
need
spell.
the
You're right. You're right. My bad. Okay, so I went into the wrong one. It is a spell. My bad. It's a spell, but only warlocks do it. That's why I was thinking it was a class thing. Okay. So instead, let's go into the right module. How about spells? Here we go. This is so much. I mean, it's maybe not hard for everybody else, but for me, my brain is just so filled with. I got 50 fucking modules. I don't know what's where. People send me an email and they're like I'll give you an example. It's not Chris's fault. It's just that before the game, Chris said, "What do I do about the Monster Slayer feat?" And so I just trust what people tell me. So I spent 20 minutes trying to find this feat and find out Monster Slayer is not a feat. It's an archetype. And not only is
Yeah,
it
you know I know fuck all about D&D.
you know, I know, but that's my point. People email me and they go, "Hey Rob, what about this? There's a mistake." And I go fucking track this shit down, and I just don't know where anything is. Because to me, it all runs together. To me, it's all 50 fucking things in the same thing. All right,
So
so
imagine
let's
you
go.
have to track.
Just tell them what
if you have to
Ken L
track,
does. Nothing.
All right, so let me go get the test guy, open this guy, make sure there's nothing on him. Okay, it's blank. Okay, now hex. All right, there it is. So if I drag it over and look at it, so it appears that it does not have that. So you're right. If I apply this hex to the guy and then he dies, it comes off. And then there's no indication that I had done hex. Yeah.
My
So what do we want to do? We want to add. Yeah, because that goes on the guy. So yeah, this gets shift now. What? Yeah, it says
you
SD there.
also have two things there. You have the damage, and you have a secondary which has only the disadvantage on the check, and I combined it.
Yeah. So is that? Yeah. So let's think this through. I mean, you know, the real reason this isn't any way different than what it is right now is nobody's ever questioned me on it until now. So I'm glad you're doing this, and I'm glad
That's the second time someone is mentioning something you were never expecting.
No, because
Something with the longbow.
So if you
earlier.
if you think about it, my only thing I can do is make something and just the way I think it works. And then unless anybody says, hey, Rob, that's wrong, you got to change this. If that never happens, it's just assumed for all in perpetuity for the rest of time that what I did was right until somebody brings it up and says, oh, wait, what about this? So, that's why I'm forever making changes. I mean, I coded 4,000 things. You don't think there's going to be a mistake in there? I mean, but I'll never know until somebody tells me. All right, so you think if we combine this, so combining it doesn't seem that it would work because it's going
No,
to apply.
in order for it to be combined, you just have to do it the way I did. You have one button, that's the hex that you activate for yourself that carries the if target and the bonus. And by the way, another thing about hex, as I see it there, it needs to be ranged MLA because hex does not apply to AoE. And the way it's coded there, if the warlock is fiend warlock and he casts fireball, the hexed target will get bonus damage from the fireball, and that's not how hex works. Hex works on attack.
Right. Okay. So we're going to change this whole thing now. So everybody's watching live. We're going to do it. So it should be, let's see, if T custom, I might have to look up how that goes. How does that go? Do you know?
FT colon custom, all
Oh,
caps custom,
and then
parentheses.
parentheses. Okay. Hexed. Hex, right?
No.
Hex.
I watched the stream and there's a delay, so I'm not sure what you've typed yet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I have what you said. If T colon custom parentheses hex or whatever the label will be, semicolon, and then the damage, which is also ranged melee. No. Ranged, comma, melee. Okay, so that is going to be what gets applied to the enemy.
Is that ranged or ranged? I can't read correctly.
God damn it. It's so small. It's so small.
It's an M, not an R, I think, on ranged.
Yeah, ranged. Yeah, okay. And we'll test this. We'll test this. So this one then needs to be hex and
the other one is correct, as it is.
Yeah, okay. So
actually,
now let's
no. You need a semicolon on hex because the custom tag will look for C without the semicolon before C. The hex, the second effect, hex semicolon parenthesis C, because if target custom will look for the C and it will not find it because it needs a semicolon.
Right. And actually, this one doesn't need to be. This one it actually doesn't need the C because Fantasy Grounds already knows that.
No, it needs because if you lose concentration, the hex must go off the target as well.
Right, but it knows if you lose this one on yourself, it'll automatically lose that one, I think.
No, if it doesn't have C, it will not expire. Yeah, it needs C to expire at the same time.
So, but does the C need a second semicolon? Can you just leave it? You can't do it that way. You got to put a second semicolon, right?
You can put this. You can put C at the end after edit semicolon set.
Oh yeah. Okay, gotcha.
So I had a question.
I don't.
Okay, Laroon, if your question doesn't relate directly to this, please hold it because I'm fucking freaking out right now. All right, so let's test it. I want to make sure this works. So let's go to Combat Tracker. Oh, good, we have shit in here. So let's put this guy in. Take this guy out. All right, so I'm gonna hex the unidentified creature. No, wait. Yeah. yeah, okay, we're gonna leave the word edit. I know I'm gonna change it, but we don't care about that right now. So that goes there, and then this goes on myself. Okay, so now if the test creature with no fucking weapon or spell to use, god damn it. As a matter of fact, I need to give
There
myself.
is one. Before you continue, there is one caveat with this thing, and that involves specifically mostly Eldritch Blast and any other spell attack. Spell attacks as spells, their attack roll does carry the ranged tag, but their damage does not. So Hex does not apply on Eldritch Blast if you cast it as a spell. That's why if you've noticed on my character, I had Eldritch Blast also as a fake weapon, if you remember. And that's precisely why I had it, because I wanted Hex to proc on the Eldritch Blast. And it wouldn't work if I used it as a spell.
Okay, so let me wrap my head around that. Just give me a minute here. I got to take it one step at a time. I realize you're trying
Sure.
to, but I gotta do this one thing at a time. Okay, so I need an item. Jesus Christ, none of this shit is open. People have to be watching this going, what in the fuck are they? But I think most people know what we're doing. Okay, so let me just get any weapon. Let me get the club. Okay. All right. So if I do damage with a club, I should get an extra d6, which I did. Matter of fact, it gave me 2 extra. Why is that? Oh, is it because the fucking thing's on there twice? Yes. Well, good. So that worked. I had it on there twice. Okay. If I do damage with a ranged weapon, a ranged club, I got the extra d6. Excellent. Thrown should not give it to me? No, it does. Okay, so because thrown is considered ranged. Okay, so now if I do damage with fireball, I should not get the damage, right? Wait. Is that true? Hello? What happened? I lost everybody?
I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here. I forgot to push the button. I'm sorry.
Okay, so if I do damage with fireball, I should not get the extra damage, correct?
You should not, yeah.
Okay, well now the fucking thing doesn't work. Screen's frozen. I got the blue circle of death all of a sudden. Okay, here we go. So I did, and I did not. I did not get it. So now, what are you saying doesn't work? Go back to what you were trying to tell me when I shut you down and said, please don't talk to me while I'm trying to concentrate. So you were saying something about Eldritch Blast doesn't work, and you had to make it a fake.
Apply Eldritch Blast. It's a solid example. Place Eldritch Blast as a spell on test character.
Oh, okay, let's do it. Eldritch Blast. Yeah, I don't know how to spell. I don't know how to type. I don't know anything. All right, Eldritch Blast. So if I do the Eldritch Blast damage, where is it? Here it is, 1d10 force. Whoops, no, I did it to myself. So yeah, it did not give me the dice.
Right, because even though if you make an attack with Eldritch Blast, you will notice at the chat box it says that it is a ranged attack, but the
Right.
tag does not follow on the damage roll. And the way to bypass that for Eldritch Blast or other such spells like Firebolt is to make it as a fake weapon, create a weapon with the same stats and use that one. And that will apply it correctly.
So that seems to be
I don't know. I don't know if that works. I'm interested to find out if this works.
Well, that seems to be a flaw in Fantasy Grounds then, because
yeah,
but
It is a limitation of Fantasy Grounds.
So
They've
the other
they've
way to
not
do
made
it is to remove the ranged and the melee signifiers, but then the other thing happens where when you do fireball, you get an extra d6, which you shouldn't get.
Yeah, precisely. The other thing I've done is simply I've added a third button that just deals the damage for those odd spells that you might want to apply the damage, but it didn't proc for whatever reason. So I just have a button that deals the straight hex damage for those cases. I didn't have it in this character because I wouldn't need it, but I have had it on other warlocks in the past.
Yeah. So what we should do then is,
well, if it is the case of a warlock, he mostly relies on Eldritch Blast for ranged attacks. So the easiest fix is to just have it as a weapon, and it just works.
yeah, but you don't want to, right, but I'm thinking not in terms of what a player should do for their character sheet. I'm thinking in terms of what do I need to do to make this the best code I can make it.
Hex is a very weird case. So
Hex is super weird.
Really
so I'm going to do what you said.
Someone...
I'm just going to do what you said. It's that simple. 1d6 necrotic.
And everything we said for this also applies for Hunter's Mark.
Yeah. So so now we have the if custom thing, which goes on yourself, the hex signifier with the disadvantage on the check of whatever ability is goes on the monster, and then with ranged and melee, and then if you run into a situation like Eldritch Blast where it doesn't work, you can then just add the extra d6 onto the attack.
Yeah, basically.
So that's everything that's needed. So okay, so now we have to go get Hunter's Mark.
You may have to remove the SD parentheses from the name since it's
no
longer
you're
a
right.
drag.
Yeah, you're right. Hunter's Mark. All right. What? Hunter's Mark. All right. So I'm just gonna make it all look the same, basically. So Hunter's Mark. Oh no, wait a minute. Hunter's Mark. Oh, that's the other thing that so Hex is necrotic damage, but Hunter's Mark is slashing.
Untyped.
Or it's untyped, yeah, but it is typed.
If you leave it untyped, it will get the type of the damage that accompanies it. I think.
Oh, does it?
That's
okay,
what
good.
told
I never knew if that was true or not. So.
That's what Zekius told me. I've actually didn't experiment to see if it is the case. I think it is though.
Now wait a minute. But Hunter's Mark is not ranged or melee. It's whatever it is, right? It's just everything, isn't it?
I think it is also ranged or melee. Read its description.
You choose a creature you can see within range and mystically mark your... Okay, until the end, you deal an extra 1d6 damage to the target whenever you hit it with a weapon attack. And you have advantage. Attack. Yeah, so it's... And you can't signify weapon attack. You can't... There's no way to signify that.
No, that you cannot. But
so you just have to...
Rangers typically do not have ranged spell attacks. You can only go so far with automation. You have to be mindful of your effects.
Right. Yeah. So and what I want to do is I want to make it as idiot proof as possible, even though you can't make it totally idiot proof. I want to make it as possible. So actually, this just ends up being the same same as it was. So, okay, Hunter's Mark. If custom Hunter's Mark. Okay, so. Yeah, see now, so you wouldn't need to make the extra damage, and this doesn't have an extra effect. So I actually like leaving this the way it was. I like leaving this with the SD because all you really have to do is
You still have
drag.
to concentrate on it. Like Hex, you have to keep concentration on it. Even if the target dies, you can mark another one. And you can
Right.
be concentrating on Hunter's Mark without having someone marked.
Right, but as far as the shift drag, I like that better, don't you?
I personally am not a fan of shift drag, but that's just me. So you shouldn't
But-
ask me.
but
You should do what
there's-
you want.
But there's for Hex, there's a reason not to do it. But for Hunter's Mark, there's no reason not to do it.
My point is that both of them require concentration. That's my main issue why I would like it to be with this way. You have to have a tag on yourself that signifies that you're concentrating on a particular spell, regardless if it affects anyone. So since you do have the tag, you might as well keep if the target.
Yeah, okay, I see your point. Okay, so let's add.
It's just less important for the ranger to signify melee ranged, I would assume, because he mostly deals with weapons. Of course, then you get into multi-classing, and that might complicate things, but we're entering another rabbit hole there.
So wait a minute. If you're marking, so on Hex, we never added that. We didn't add a self.
Yes, you did. It's the first effect. It has self at the end.
But if the guy dies, that's still on you. Is that what you're saying? Okay, I see what you're
Yes,
saying. Yeah.
that remains
This
on
shit,
you.
I have no idea how I was able to actually put these out on DM's Guild for people to have. I don't know how I accomplished it, because when I go back 2 years later and look at this shit, I don't know what the fuck's going on. I do not even know how this.
You
I'm all
rolled
fucking
a
turned
lot
around.
of natural 20. You rolled a
I
lot
did,
of
I
natural
did.
20s.
You're absolutely right. So everybody else that's listening to the show and watching the show and is in the chat with us, I know, I realize you guys didn't sign up for this, but hopefully people find it interesting. Okay, so Hunter's Mark, which in this case
is basically a snippet of what happens every day at Ask the Experts at the college.
yeah,
we
right.
talk about that stuff.
That's right.
I'm actually coding some effects for Pathfinder, doing some basics. So yeah, a little.
So is what I have here correct? And it seemingly is, because
I
you're
would
mark-
say that yes, it's
yeah,
okay.
you're marking the target
Yeah.
with that, and you're marking yourself with this.
Just the Hunter's Mark, the first one needs a concentration marker.
Oh yeah, I didn't. Okay, yeah, you're right. All right. Theoretically, that's perfect. Let's test it. So I'm gonna put this on myself. I'm gonna put this on this dude. And then if I roll damage on that dude, he's marked. If, yeah, it works. There you go. Okay, so that's how you do it. So now, since we tested all that, I have to go to the list and I have to delete Hunter's Mark and Hex, and then put the new ones on. All right, so now, having done that, I can re-export the module and update it. Okay, now, thanks everybody for bearing with that. Do we still have an audience? Are people still here? You know what? Let's give away a prize. Let's reward everybody for stomaching that and give away a prize. What did we say we were going to do, Labron? We're going to give away anything anybody wants on the DM's Guild, right?
Yeah.
That's going to be
That's
okay.
cool.
So
2019
That's very generous.
Corvette.
2019 Corvette. That's going to be. Who said that? Was that Voss?
No,
No.
it was
No,
Kilgore.
no.
Oh, it's Kilgore. Yeah. So 2019 Corvette, paid for by Kilgore. That's what's going to be the prize here.
Keyword
A
Corvette.
token.
Keyword, he's moved out of the country.
Corvette.
Okay, so let's go to keyword raffle. We're gonna make it. We're gonna make the keyword hex because why not? And this is gonna be DM's Guild item. I'm gonna make it anything anybody wants. It can be a package. It can be something I did with another author. It can be anything, whatever the winners want. And let's start that, run a 2-minute timer. So guys, if you're in the chat, if you're in the Twitch chat and you want to win something from the DM's Guild that you either that I made with an author or that's myself, including packages that you don't have, keep in mind that if you enter this contest and you win, I no longer allow people to say, oh, you know what, Rob, I already have all your stuff. Give it to somebody else, or, forward the prize, or give it away again next week, or any of that stuff. That's just a lot of bookkeeping that I don't want to deal with because I'm super lazy. And so if you win, then you are the winner. So go ahead and enter into the chat. We'll run the timer for another minute and a half or so. And then we will draw ourselves a winner. That whole time that we were doing that, Layroon or Fury, did anybody have questions on Twitch? Because I certainly wasn't looking.
Well, there was more comments because when you guys were testing, like one guy was already dead, one guy had the unconscious thing on him already.
And none of that matters because it's just
Cheerbits in the
it just
stream.
matters.
Thanks for the
Cheerbits. Hey, thanks, Drake. It just matters if the dice got rolled or not. It doesn't matter what the conditions of anything were. Yeah.
Question about Hex. Would it behoove somebody to just have the second part of it coded for like 3 different stats? So the part where you say, hey, let's edit and put in a stat, what you want to affect.
Oh,
why don't
yeah.
you just put like strength, dexterity, and charisma and call it a day? And then that way you
I
don't
mean,
have to...
I could do that. Yeah, I could do that. I mean, I could go. I just, yeah.
Well, I
so,
mean, for somebody, not for your coding package, but just
well, but
for
I mean,
your
why
own.
not do it? It's going to take me a minute and a half. Let's just do it.
Okay.
Let's just do it. I
For
mean,
me, for me personally, as a DM in stuff like that, like also for the Diviner's Portent and other stuff that require editing, I actually leave them as edit, and I have my players cast them as is, and because it's a lot faster for me to just go on the combat tracker and click on the effect and just change it, type it there on the spot, than actually having the player look for the appropriate button every time or edit his effect. It
Good
takes
point.
more time. That's my personal experience.
Oh,
as a
so
DM.
let's just leave it then.
Yeah.
I like it.
I agree. I like it.
But your mileage may vary. It's however everyone wants to run their game. But I've personally
Yeah.
found that it's faster that way.
Yeah.
Right, and my main focus or my main goal when I do these is to make it so that it's, like I said before, the easiest way, or what can people not have to fuck with so much. Like I want, the whole point of it is to keep the game moving and not have to stop and go, oh Jesus. Because I remember like 3 years ago when we were playing, when none of this stuff was coded, and you drag something into the actions tab, and you're like, oh my god, it doesn't do anything. We need to, here, you need to add this. Okay, let's go to the wiki. Let's go to the effects wiki and look and see, and how do you, and then you get this web page and you'd scroll down and you'd go find one of these examples and you're like, okay, let's do this one. Okay, here we go. And then the players, I'd be DMing and the players would be like, god damn it, Rob, this is taking too long. And I'm like, yeah, but the point is we only have to do it once. And then once we do it, we've got it for the future, for all our games, for all our characters. And they were like, and then that's when everybody started to get excited about it. And then somebody said to me, I think it was Stuner and Urash were like, you know what, you should just code all this shit. And I'm like, yeah, right. And I thought it was a joke. And then
then you ended up doing it.
And then I did it, and I've done very well with that. People,
I've practically learned to code by examining your modules and the wiki first.
Yeah,
Nice.
well, there you go.
I've dissected what you did and saw the wiki and experimented, and that's how I learned how to code.
And I actually encourage people. People think that I don't want people to learn how to do it because I just want them to spend money and buy my stuff. But I'm the opposite of that. I always encourage everybody to do exactly what you did, which is learn how it all works. Look, my mouse, I did not push that. Boffin wins because I push it. My mouse just pushes on stuff when I don't want it to. But I was gonna push on it anyway. So Boffin, nat 20, and Yeah, so I actually encourage people, and if you go back and watch shows, or if you watch me play games, or anytime I'm interviewed by someone, I always say the same thing. I always want people to learn how to make those codes. And I'm not saying that because I don't want people to not buy my stuff. What I want is so that they learn how to do it, so that when they get a homebrew situation, or they go to the DMs Guild and download something that has, non-WotC spells or feats or class features or race traits or items even, that they know how to code those, because I'm only doing the official WotC stuff, right? There's no way I can cover. It's like the internet. You'll never see every web page. Well, I'm not going to be able to go code every spell that any homebrew guys invented. People have to learn how to do that themselves. So I encourage people to learn how to do that. And my thing is just a sort of a helpful way to get you on your way. And then if you do happen to be playing only Wizards of the Coast 5th edition stuff, then I've covered all that. But, So, Boffrin, you know what to do. You've won a prize from me 65 times. Before the show's over, we'll give away another thing.
Cool. So we had a winner too, Rob, in college this week.
Oh yeah, I saw so I was laughing because I even said that on Saturday on the roundtable. I opened up your email live on the air, and it said congrats, and it had a trophy, and it said the person's name, and I'm like, I have no idea what this is. I don't know. I'm a Patreon, but I don't even know what that. So do you want to explain what somebody won?
Sure. We held a writers contest in FGC, and we gave them a while to do it, and it looks like we had 10 entries, and we had about 17 staff people vote on it. And how we worked it out is that only one person knew which each story was. So I had to vote on a number, not a person, so you can't do favorites. So I said, I voted on number 4, and all the other staff members voted on a number, but they had no idea who the person was.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So when we did a Google Doc and everyone just voted. Once I got the votes, I gave that to the person that was holding the names, the key, which was Lady Shell, and she donated $100 gift certificate to the DMs Guild, and FGC, which is the community, donated 2 books of their choice. So that person got to go shopping for 2 books on Steam, because they just happened to use Steam for their purchases. And he already had the ultimate license, which is the prize that we offered. So instead, I encouraged him to go to the DMs Guild and look at some of your stuff and look at some of the other Fantasy Grounds products that are on the DMs Guild.
Oh,
so
fantastic.
That winner was in our server is Darth Zorg. He calls himself Darren. I don't know if that's his real name or not. But congratulations again, and hopefully that'll bring you lots of fun and joy.
Excellent.
Do you remember off the top of your head what number was his story?
I don't know if I could tell you that.
Okay.
I'll
So
give
we
it
just
to you
know
later.
the winner. We don't know what story won.
Yeah, number 7, or excuse me, it was number 8 that won.
Cool.
So what
Yeah,
does everybody get to see that? Is the story published,
Yeah.
or what? How do
Yeah.
we go look at that?
Well, we published the link to the winner, and in that article is a link to the list of the story entries.
Oh, okay. And then is that on that's on fantasygroundscollege.net?
Yeah. So if you had the Patreon announcement, it should have given you a link to the article that tells you who won, and then in the article.
So that's why I was wondering, because my email from Patreon just had a trophy in it, his name, and it said congrats. There was no link, there was no story, no nothing. That's why I was like, what is this? So I think that didn't translate through or whatever. But if it's here, on the website, where is there an article, or how do we know?
So go to the top there, and you want to go to FG Times or FGC Times.
Okay.
And if you click there, there's a list of articles.
Yeah. And
it should be the announcement of the winner. So it's
here we go. We have a winner. There we go. So it says we have recently. Okay, good. So then, if you go to read more, then it's going to be everything in there.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Did they win by a lot, Aaron?
No,
So
actually,
I'll put the link in the Twitch chat for everybody. This will take you directly to the page if you guys are interested
Yep.
in seeing that. So that's cool. So you had a writing contest. Darth Zord won, and here's he got to pick 2 books out of these, and then he got a DM's Guild thing, and excellent.
and then
Dungeon
there's the
Master's Guild.
link for the entries to show you what they wrote.
Oh yeah, cool.
Yep.
All right. So yeah, if you guys want to take a look at that, there you go. I put the link in the chat for everybody.
He won by one vote. I mean, there was only 17 votes against 10 people, but he got like 6 or 7 votes, and the other player got like 5. So it was a really close one.
Oh, nice. I feel that Alex and Furied and Kilgore and Chris and Voss have all been shortchanged. You guys haven't got to speak very much. So
Yeah.
if you guys want
I have no complaints. I spoke a whole lot.
fucking everybody at once. If you got stuff to say, you can say it. But the only thing I made out of that was Fury's high pitched "It's fine," which is very pleasing to my ears.
Oh no, I'm good. I'm just listening. It's all good information. I like to absorb anything about gaming.
So good. So
Rob, I just wanted to say.
Yes.
I just wanted to say that with your coding packages, I used those to learn how to do the coding because it's all there.
Yeah.
And then,
awesome.
And then that way, if I have to type them myself, I do. It's just faster to drag and drop.
Yeah, no, that's great. That makes me so happy to hear that, because that's what I would like people to do. Like the 2 of you who said that, you kind of dissect what I've done, and then it kind of leads you. I mean, that wiki is great. You know, the Fantasy Grounds wiki that, and by the way, guys, there's a quick way to get to that. If you're in Fantasy Grounds and you're in the effects, you know, the little zombie guy that you open up to go to effects here. If you click this question mark in the upper right, it just takes you to that wiki page. So, and I'm sure anybody that's played Fantasy Grounds for more than a few times has seen this, and a lot of people probably scroll down and go, "What the fuck? I'm out of here." Like, and that's what I did. I swear to God, the first 5 times I looked at this webpage, I'm like, "No," and I went up here and I closed it. And I was like, "No, I'm not going to get into it." And then now look at me. I'm the fucking guy who did it. So that wiki is great. It does not cover everything. As a matter of fact, it covers just a fraction. And if you go to, I mean, if you have my class effects, my spells, my feats, my race traits, and my items, I think altogether that comprises approximately 4,000 codes. So that took me a very long time to do. And now every time a book comes out, every time WotC publishes a book, I panic. Because here's the list. Here's the list of all the WotC books: Curse of Strahd, Dungeon Master's Guild, Elemental Evil, on and on and on and on, all the way down through Dungeon of the Mad Mage and Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica. All of the books that have been published, what they have in them: monsters, do they have feats, classes, subclasses, spells, magic items, backgrounds, races, right? And then here's all the stuff that I've done on the DM's Guild that involves coding or some manner of having to update shit. And then all the yellow ones are ones I have to do. Like, you know, I still haven't. And every day I go and I do something, and then, you know, and that's why in my Discord, in the channel where it says DM's Guild updates, I mean, it just keeps, every day I fucking put something in there. And last night on the show, if you guys were watching the show on Saturday, which we don't put that one on YouTube, you have to be here for that. But someone sent me a PM and said, "Hey Rob, there's a mistake," or I forget what it was because it all runs together in my head. Even 12 hours ago, I still don't remember. But I had to update the spell coding effects module, which I did, which I just did now with Hexen, right? So what I'll have to do is I'll have to go publish that on the DM's Guild, and then that is contained inside the coding package, which is contained inside the 2017, which is contained inside the everything 2016-17. So I don't just make one update, I have to make 4. And then, you know, because if somebody downloaded the spell effects coding package, they'll get the update. But if they never downloaded that and they bought, say, for example, the 2017 package, which has that, they're not going to get this download. They're going to get this download. So every time there's something within something, it's like the Russian doll thing, inside, inside, inside. I have to go update all of those. So so I dread looking at my email box and my PM messages.
And to think I sometimes get lazy to simply make a poll for my players to decide when the next session is gonna be.
Yeah, exactly. And then I dread. I mean, I love it because I want it to be perfect, and I want people. If there's a mistake, I want to fix it. I have OCD that way. I have to go do it. I have to drop everything I'm doing. If I'm on my way out the door to get groceries, no, that goes second. If I get an email that says, "Hey Rob, check this out. This needs to maybe be changed," I have to do that first. That's the first thing I have to do. And then I panic, and I have to go do it right away because I want my customers to be happy, and I want people who like the effort that I've put forth to remain happy forever. And so if there's something that needs to be changed, I have to fix it right away. But you guys can imagine every PM or every email that I get, I see that red one up there in the corner, and I'm like, oh my God, is this going to be some mistake I have to fix? And then that's literally a half hour of my life every single time I get one of those emails. And I don't do something what smart people would do, which is gather 5 of them up and do them all together. No, if I get something, I got to fix it right now. I got to fix it right away. I have to stop what I'm doing and fix it, because that's how I do
So
it.
that doll is a Matryoshka doll.
The Matryoshka doll?
Matryoshka doll.
Matryoshka. I don't know how to spell it. We're going to find it. That's one of the good things about it.
I put it in the chat.
You can misspell shit, and Google will just say, hey, this is how you do it. Here they are. A doll inside a doll inside a doll inside a doll inside a doll.
Yep.
That's how you do it. So, good.
My mother used to have those.
Oh yeah, what's your background? What's your ethnic background, if I may ask publicly in front of everyone?
I am Greek. I live in Greece. It's now 5 in the morning where I live.
Oh,
Sunday.
Shut up! Wait! Really?
No,
You're Greek?
Monday.
I'm Greek too. Well,
Yeah.
You are?
Fury's only half a Greek. She doesn't
I'm
count.
only half.
I am a full Greek, to the best of my knowledge, anyway.
Oh, very good.
My dad's actually from Drina, over by
Yeah.
Amoros and Volos.
Volos is close to where I live currently. I live in Thessaloniki.
Okay, I have family there.
Ah, cool. So I've been playing D&D since 2nd edition 1998. Started gaming with 3rd edition when it came out, and more or less been on it and other RPGs since. And I've started using Fantasy Grounds actually a bit less than a year ago.
All right.
Oh wow. So if
And,
I go ahead. Yeah, if we're gonna say something else, go for it.
And my party, the one we're playing right now, is old friends we always play that we play together. One of them is in London. 3 of them are in my hometown where I grew up in Ioannina, and another one is in my city where I live also. So it was an opportunity for me to Fantasy Grounds allowed me to play again, for instance, with my old DM. He's my player now again after several years. We never lost contact, and we have this thing we call the holiday special, where we play one-shots every holidays when we gather together in Ioannina. But now we actually have the ability to run an ongoing campaign from our homes, and that's awesome.
That is awesome. So you guys are Greek, and many people don't believe me when I tell them, because I appear to be the whitest dude ever, and 99% of my DNA comes from Europe.
Yeah, that's where white people originated.
Right, 1% of my DNA comes from the heart of Africa, baby. I am an African American, and you can't imagine the fucking forms I'm filling out now.
I would say that all of humanity has DNA from Africa.
Yeah.
Oh, well, usually you don't hear people say that, though. So I technically, I used to make a joke because, what's her name? Charlize Theron. She's like the whitest white lady ever. And
South African, I think.
She was,
I was about to say, South Africa. There's
right. She was
white people.
But she was born in South Africa, like directly in South Africa. And so
her name is actually, she says her name is actually Charlize Theron in South African, but no one could pronounce it, so it's now Charlize Theron.
Oh yeah, Africans or whatever they. Yeah, so it's funny because when she first came to, stardom in the 90s, I used to say to people, she's African American, and people would be like, "What the fuck, you? Get out of here! What are you saying?" And I'm like, yeah, you're just looking at the person. You don't realize that she was born in Africa. And they go, what? And I go, yeah, South Africa, Nelson Mandela, apartheid, fucking read a book, watch the news. And they go, no, you're lying. And then people would get all mad at me that I would say she was African American. And I'm like, yeah,
So,
why don't
Rob,
you check it out?
we were almost Mongolian because if it wasn't for the Danube River and also the mountains there, and the Mongols would have tried to conquer Western Europe. And about a third of the world has Mongolian blood because of the rain that they have. So a lot of those people from east of those mountains and the river have Mongolian blood. Not
Oh,
all,
that's
but
weird.
a lot.
So
Yeah.
I'm showing on stream my ancestry DNA thing that I spit into a tube and sent away or whatever, and they're saying that because of the science and because of the new way they look at it and different things that they've learned in the last decades, they're saying that if I would have done it like 20 years ago or in the past, I would have just received information that's highlighted on the screen, and that would have been it. Like I would have been like 100% European, and that's it, nothing else. And then they say the updated information has me having a bit of Africa down here. So that's just
I'm actually
fascinating.
interested in doing a similar thing at some point. I haven't bothered doing it yet, but
Yeah, I did Ancestry DNA. I think it was $99 or something. And there's a few different companies that do it. There's
21andMe or something like that.
Yeah,
23andMe, yeah.
And I read a bunch of stuff on the internet, like ancestry forums or genealogy forums and this and that, and I basically went out, because if you want, you can go, like with politics, and whether you're conservative or Republican or Democrat, whatever, you can go find information that matches what you want it to say, right? You can go on the internet and look for information and find what you want to find to justify the way you want it to be, what your wish is. But what I did with this ancestry stuff is I just went out and read a bunch of stuff, and I left it, I left my emotions out of it, and I kind of went to like 5 or 6 different places that talked about getting your DNA tested and whatever, and I sort of got people's thoughts and what people were saying, and it all pointed to that Ancestry DNA was the best one. Like that's the one people think has the best results. That's the one people were most satisfied with. That's the one people didn't have as many questions about, and this and that. So that's how I decided to pick them. And then so I just sent it in. And I did this like about 2 years ago. But because I was adopted and whatever. And welcome to Fantasy Grounds Sundays, everybody. We're talking about fucking DNA now. But anyway,
I was thinking that thing. We started about coding hex, and then we ended up talking about DNA and ancestry. That's awesome, actually.
And hex has an E in it, and Greek has an E in it, and then that's how we got off track. That's how
Well, and Hellas, as Greek, has an H as well.
There you go. Very good. So I think we'll go ahead. We've done an hour for the show, so that's good enough. And this was sort of a weird non-show. Oh, by the way, we do not have a subject for next week's show, so we might want to think about that. Yeah, we might want to talk about that. I was soliciting people's ideas in FGC, and Havoc had an idea, and now I don't remember what it is. Oh wait, did I write it?
Don't you just hate it when that happens?
Did I write it down? Favorite rule sets. Oh, by the way, I tried to start a poll for and I mean I put it on Reddit, I put it on Facebook, including the 5th edition group that has 130,000 members in it. I put it on my Twitter. I put it in FGC and in my Discord. I put it everywhere, and only 2 people have responded. And the poll was,
wow,
what is your favorite Wizards of the Coast official encounter or storyline per level? And I even said on the survey, you don't have to fill out every level. You can just do the ones you want. And I only had 2 people respond, and the one person that responded didn't do it. One did it right. I think it was Boffrin. And the other person who responded, I don't know who that is, they didn't even, they put down, oh, my friend's game that he ran at his house, and It was a homebrew. Like they didn't even understand how to answer the survey. So I get so frustrated with that because I thought, oh, this is going to be great. I'm going to make this survey, and 200 people are going to give me their responses, and we're gonna add it all up. You know, like the FGC survey that Leroon did that was really involved. He got a lot of good information from that because like a few hundred people, or like upwards of 1,000 people have answered that over the course of a year, right? And I thought, oh, we're going to get this great information, and then you go here. I'm going to go to it right now. I don't know if anybody else has done it. Let's see, forms. And we'll see how many responses. And responses, yeah, it's still 2. It's still only 2. So someone put Death Knight Squire for first and second level. And then the other person put, my cleric was separated from a party during shenanigans. I mean, I'm out. I'm through reading that now. But I thought I was going to get all kinds of responses, and no, it just blew up in my face. So
I have a question. I have a question for everyone here. Off the top of your head, your favorite adventure you've either played or run as a GM? Let's say Dungeons & Dragons, but if you want to mention another system, no problem.
Prince of the Apocalypse. Anyone
The
else?
Haunt 2.
Oh, yeah, that was good.
That was so much fun. Gwydion did a great job doing that. So
The 4th edition Tomb of Horrors. I'm not talking about the remake of the original, the sequel, kinda. Well, is my favorite. I think.
I never played that. I bet that's awesome.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah, here's the Haunt 2 right here. Anybody else? Anybody else got any favorites? What about you guys in the chat? Do you have anybody put anything in the Twitch chat? Your favorite? What did you say, Vasti? The favorite D&D adventure?
The for D&D primarily, but if
Yeah.
Pathfinder, whatever, adventure.
5e or any
edition? Any edition.
Any edition.
Mine was the original Vault of the Drow Descent into the
Yeah,
Demon
so
Pit.
I did answer 5th edition. If I said of all time, it would be the Dragonlance series of
yeah.
DL first edition DL. Those.
I've never seen the adventures themselves. I've only read the books.
Ooh, Under Mountain, that's a good one too.
Yeah, the original was awesome.
So
I like the Elemental Evil too, the older one.
Yeah. So Radar Thomas, you know that Under Mountain is that's the book that just came out. That's the Dungeon of the Mad Mage. That is Under Mountain. That's 5th edition Under Mountain. So that'll be fun. Well, yeah, they had to. They couldn't do the whole thing.
The only problem I personally have with these large adventures that Wizards of the Coast is now getting out, and that's only a personal thing because of the way I run my campaigns in my own setting. I create my own adventures, and I like playing ready-made adventures, but those adventures are campaigns, they're not adventures, so you cannot just insert them into your own campaign. You have to actually commit too much of your campaign to that, and that's why I cannot run them.
See, and that's exactly why I was doing this survey. I wanted to do that survey so that I could get people's opinions on the best adventures to run, like at each level. So, like for example, Death House. That's like a 1 or 2 session thing. That's the beginning of Curse of Strahd, and you can just put that in a campaign and not do anything. You don't have to do Curse of Strahd. Or, like, say, for example, Princes of the Apocalypse, one of those dungeons, one of those 4 dungeons that are in the main focus of Princes of the Apocalypse, you can just do one of those or a portion of one of those. And so that's what I was trying.
Tales from the Yawning Portal is also a good option because it has lots of smaller adventures.
Yeah, exactly. So you could say, what is your favorite one from that? But yeah, people didn't want to answer mine. Nobody ever likes to play with my information. I don't know. You can turn that into some kind of euphemism, I'm sure. Boffrin said Expedition to the Barrier Peaks. That was a good one. Celestian, also known as Mr. Savage Worlds, says that I get confused. Maybe is Celestian Savage Worlds or is he 2nd edition? I can't remember. Under a Mountain
I thought he was AD&D.
AD&D, that's right. Under Mountain was terrible. You guys need to go back and look at it. I think the reason Under Mountain was so popular is it had that giant sprawling map and it came in a box and everybody loved it. AD&D, goddamn, he's getting mad at me because I keep thinking he's Savage.
I remember because I love you.
And Celestian, I can't remember who I'm confusing you with. there's a person who is. Oh, it's Boffrin. Boffrin is not 5e, right? He's Savage Worlds.
Yeah.
Or any Boffrin is anything not 5e, I think is what it means.
Yeah.
Black and white maps, meh. Chris.
Eh,
I am the
I
Savage
agree.
Worlds. You guys are both. So they're both here, Celestian and Boffrin. I keep getting. Because what I do is. It's hard for me to remember that because if I hear not 5e, I just melt down and I don't want to know what they're talking about because I'm very anti non 5e. I mean, I was a huge AD&D guy though. Yeah, Celestian, you should know that. I started with AD&D. That was my jam, when I was 15 to maybe 21. And then I didn't play D&D for like 20 years or 22 years. And then I came back to it. And now look at me. I'm just fucking up everything. I can't. I'm fucking the whole thing up all the time. So good. Anybody else got questions or? Oh, we never.
do a prize.
Oh yeah, I'll do a prize. So here, let's do that. And then we got to think about what we're gonna do next week. I mean, we have a couple things we can just throw together. We can always do how to make a proper druid or how to make a proper NPC. Let's just do it.
I still think proper druid is a good thing.
Yeah.
Should we do proper druid next week? Okay, that's what we'll do.
Yes.
Whoops.
And
Hold
a
on.
lot of people are asking about shape shifting and stuff like that. So it'd be
Okay, so how to make a proper druid is what we will do on Sunday. Next Sunday. Boom. There it is. Done. As a matter of
And
fact,
I want to get Dead Hand on here one of these Sundays too, with you, Rob.
To
already
talk
sent you
about
the-
maps, you mean?
No, it was something related to what you guys are doing together. I sent you the idea.
Oh, you did. Okay, so I'll look at that. Okay, let's give away a prize. Let's do it. Boffrin won the last one, so let's go reset, start. It's still going to be the word hex because I'm lazy and didn't change it. So if you guys want to put in, I already pressed start. I forgot to change it. Exclamation hex in the chat on Twitch if you guys want to win. And this will again be the ultimate Rob 2E prize. You can pick anything you want from the DM's Guild, and it can even be a package. You can pick the goddamn most expensive 2006. Oh, by the way, everybody, I've already done the covers. Have I shown the covers? Let's see it. The 2018 package cover has been done. I don't anticipate anything will get added to it, but it's possible. And if it does, I'll just change the cover. So here's the cover for the 2018 Complete Works. That's going to come out December 24th. It's going to have all of the items packages, so all 9 of those things. And then Unknown Whom 2, these 2 things, the Book of Lost Spells, the Wizard thing. And it's going to be 50% off from December 24th to January 1st. And then January 2nd, it'll go to 40% off, so it'll still be a good deal. And at the same time, for those of you that don't have hardly any of my stuff, which I can't believe would be anybody watching this, I'm also doing another package of everything. So it's going to have 2016, 2017, and 2018. If I only fucking knew where the hell it was. Here it is right here. So for the first few days, it's going to have the Christmas balls on it. And then I'll change it. After the first of the year, I'll change it. But that's going to be 50% off everything I own. So you'll literally... Hey, thanks for the follow. Oh, that was Radar Thomas. Thanks for the follow. Welcome to the stream. So everything that I've made ever up to that day will be on sale for 50% off. And then like that's what it is now. 2016 and 17 is 40% off. And that's on Christmas Eve, I think, or Christmas Day, I broke my record. I sold the most of those in one. I think I sold like 10 of them. So hopefully I'm going to break a record this year. But you'll be able to get everything I've ever made for 50% off. And a little plug for myself. If you already have stuff I've made, but you want to do that anyway, and there's nothing stopping you, you can still buy it. I won't be mad at you. And then on January 2nd, that'll change to 40% off, and it'll just remain. And then I'll take the Christmas balls out and put like the sale kind of a thing like that, like I did last year. That Electrum, that's sold over 300 already. This thing is sold over 300 copies. and this one has sold none because it's not even available now. And David Middleton, the digital DM, will be giving away 5 of these on his Christmas extravaganza show.
Is
So
that his
that's
last
little-
one?
It's his last one, yeah.
That's what he says.
That's what he
Definitely
says.
last.
He said
I'll
that
be there.
last year. He said it like about a year ago. He said, I'll be doing a Christmas show this year. So this is him speaking a year ago. I'll be doing it this year and next year, and that's it. He already predicted, like, before he did number 4 that 5 was going to be it. So maybe I'll have to
Well,
take...
you mean his last show ever, last Christmas
No,
show?
no, just his last Christmas show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Hey, that's kind of fun, going back and forth between those covers. You can
And
see that
it's not easy to do those giveaways, people, because I've done a few with Rob, and they are a lot of work, and they can be very, very aggravating
I
to
imagine.
track people down.
I have done a lot of work on the DMs Guild. Look at all these covers.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dave said he's going to give away a whole bunch of DM's Guild things, Steam games, physical content, and some
Sweet.
other random shit too. I mean, it's not going to be as amazing as, you know, that random box with his popsicle stick and what other
Not
random
all that
stuff
other
we
shit he
made him
did.
give away that one time.
So we got a bunch of you in here. What do you guys? I pitched this to Rob. We're gonna do a show possibly about a retrospect towards the end of the year. What do you guys think of that?
About a what? A retrospective?
Yeah, of Rob's products and the show that we've done for
Oh,
the year.
oh yeah,
all that kind of good stuff.
that's not an idea. That's locked in. On December 16th, we're doing we're going to talk about all the projects I've done with other authors, and then on December 23rd, which is Sunday, we'll talk about everything that I'm going to put on sale the next day. And so we're going to,
Cool.
maybe go through it.
And that's the sad thing about because of where I live and the time difference. I rarely have the opportunity to actually be able to view this, to see this online live.
Mhm.
Yeah, because it's like 6:30 in the morning for you right now, isn't it?
It's I'll tell you, it's right now. It's 5:30 in the morning.
Oh, 5:30. Okay.
And I actually made arrangements to not work tomorrow to be able to play the game, basically.
Oh, excellent. Well, I'm glad you did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we finish, you can just go to bed and sleep all day.
Kinda.
So yeah, so we'll be doing that. And maybe sometimes we forget to do it, but I'll do it right now again. If you guys that are watching in the audience or on YouTube, if you are watching this some other day and you've made it through like an hour and 15 minutes of us just bullshitting, if you're watching this and you have an idea about something you'd like to see that's even remotely or tangentially related to Fantasy Grounds, give us an email or come to our Discord and send us a private message or contact us on the forums, whatever the hell you have to do, and let us know what you'd like to see. If it's an idea about Fantasy Grounds, a specific thing you want to have us touch on. I mean, we've done a lot of shows. We've done like almost 50 shows now, and you can go back in YouTube and watch all these. But if there's a guest that you'd like to try us to get, I'm not very good at getting guests. They always tell me, no, I don't want to come on the show. That's happened to me more than once. It's happened to me about half a dozen times, actually. People don't want to come on the show. It's because they hate me, and I'm okay with that. I'm good with it. But I want to do it for you guys, for the audience. So we've had many great guests. Chris has been on before. We've had Damned on. We've had Mass on, Deluxe Oz. We've had Kwood on.
I watched Chris when you. I don't think I watched it live. I must have seen it on YouTube. And I think that was very important because I think that's what started Chris getting involved with FGC, correct?
Chris?
Well, I hadn't talked to him much before that. I know that Leroon had spoke with him. I don't know, Chris, why don't you tell the story?
Yeah, sorry guys. Quite tired. I started getting involved with Fantasy Grounds when I started running Kickstarters, and a lot of the Fantasy Grounds forum people were coming and pledging because they were looking for a new kind of map, and they actually showed me and altered the way I was doing meanders several times over the course of a couple of Kickstarter projects. to the point where the maps became honed down and perfect for Fantasy Grounds limitations and what they needed. So yeah, I mean, for quite some time, I've been in contact here and there with Fantasy Grounds users, but it was only after I met Aaron that I really got seriously involved, and I'm still here, and I'm teaching, and I run classes, and contribute my time and my maps, and donate to the Patreon and all of that, because yeah, Fantasy Grounds has slowly leaked into my life, and it's definitely here to stay. I really like the idea. I like the software. I like the community. I like what it can do. I'm still trying to push its boundaries and see what I can do with it. But yeah, that's basically how it happened. I sort of put up some maps, and Fantasy Grounds users circled around and helped me shape them into what they are now.
Awesome.
Yep, Fantasy Grounds is the best. As a matter of fact, here's the blog entry I wrote a couple years ago about how Fantasy Grounds saved my life. So I'll put that for people to read too. But Chris is just like a lot of other people. He felt the pull, and he could do nothing about it. It sucked him in, and now he's part of the Fantasy Grounds world, and we all are, and you can't get away. But I think the greatest thing about it is nobody wants to get away. Everybody loves. I haven't yet met in 3 years anybody who became a member of the Fantasy Grounds community and was playing games, and then at some point went, you know what, I'm out. I haven't met that person yet. There might be
I
people,
second
but
that.
yeah.
The thing about Fantasy Grounds is that right now I only use it because I only run a game online, but I can totally imagine myself using it at a live table, like in my living.
Yeah, absolutely. I've done that. Many people do that, and as a matter of fact, lately the
Yeah.
big thing is you see the either on Facebook or the Fantasy Grounds forums or Twitter or whatever it is, you see the people with the 24 or 30-inch TVs set on the table as the map or as the and then they've got the laptop. And I've run many a game at the quote at the kitchen table with the Fantasy Grounds as the combat tracker, and other things, and even a second laptop, and he put the map. I tell the story all the time about my group here in Spokane that was very resistant to computers. They're all old fuddy-duddies.
Yeah.
And then
And they fell in love with it.
yeah, by the end of the first session, they're all standing up, hovering around the second laptop, pointing. No, I want to move over there. Move me over there. They're all into it. And so
I was the sort of DM. Sorry, did I interrupt you?
No, go ahead.
I was the sort of DM that always used digital assistants. Ever since I started DMing back in 2000, I had a laptop. So I was starting from an Excel spreadsheet that tracked initiative and hit points. I actually used that. To during 4th edition, there was this software made by one man called Masterplan. It was a combat tracker, but also an adventure design suite. It was very like Fantasy Grounds, but not online. And I actually carried a second monitor along my laptop and my books when we went at a friend's house, and I was the DM. I actually carried the second monitor so we could have the monitor that had the map and the combat tracker. So Fantasy Grounds for me is very much the evolution of that thing.
Yeah, and it's awesome, and people most times, it wouldn't be your first inclination to think that Fantasy Grounds could be used as a tool to play real life games, at the table with your books and your dice, but it absolutely is wonderful. I mean, it makes things better and makes things easier to keep track of. You can got all your monster hit points already just done for you. You don't have to write it down on scratch paper and all this other stuff. And I think some of the
haven't manually tracked hit points in over 10 years.
There you go. There you go. So, all right, let's wrap this nonsense up and get to the rest of our evenings. And maybe Rob's gonna, in addition to talking about himself in the third person, is gonna cook himself some dinner. Any final thoughts from any of the people here in the voice chat with us? Any final thoughts, everybody?
Yes.
Okay.
2 things. One is that Chris does now have modules on the store, and I believe those are meanders. Is that correct? Is that what you have those under?
Yes, mate, it is. Yeah, they're the small versions that are suited to Fantasy Grounds VTT.
And also sign up.
Chris
Sign
is
up for
falling
the-
asleep.
Yeah, yes. Sign up for the pickup games on Wednesday. So this is kind of a do or die situation. So if you guys want to play on Wednesday nights with Rob and crew, you might want to consider signing up. And where can they sign that up for that, Rob?
So there actually may be some new people in the chat right now that don't even know what the hell we're talking about. So Wednesday nights at this point is 5e pickup games, and what that means is it's a game in Fantasy Grounds that's like a one shot. You can come and you can literally just play one time and never play again, or you can come every week. It doesn't matter. It's sort of an open play. As a matter of fact, that's the thing to type into chat in Twitch is open play. So that explains it, and all you got to do is come into Discord and send me a private message, and there really is no waiting list. So it's first come first serve on Wednesday. So there is really no sign up per se. What the best thing to do is write down on your calendar, Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific, and show up like a half hour early. And we always start the stream and play music about an hour before. The game starts at 6, and basically what we do is we take first come first serve. And you either already have a character, and if you don't, you can take a pregen. There's like 40 pregens, and we've got a whole list of rules and everything. So it's basically tailor-made to just show up and play. That's all you really have to know. If you know anything at all about 5th edition and anything at all about Fantasy Grounds, you can basically do it. What I suggest to people is if you've never used Fantasy Grounds, or maybe only used it once or twice and you're not too confident with it, to come and hang out and watch the games, for a few times and then jump in. And even if you're not wanting to play, or even if you don't want to get in the game specifically, you can still come and hang out and watch, and you can use your chat XP to affect the players in the game. So with the Stream Elements store, you can do stuff like buy advantage or disadvantage or random monsters or traps, and long rests and remove conditions and all this other fun stuff. And so even if you're just an audience member watching the game, you can participate. I thought at one point this was such a fantastic idea that I was going to blow up and I wasn't going to be able to handle it, and I was going to have 20,000 followers just because of this one idea that I had. And what that's really turned into is the same 6 people just come and watch every time. So so we really do want new people to come if they want to do it. And on the screen, by the way, here's the Meanders packs that Chris has in the store. So if you go type
Nice.
Meanders in the search, you can go find those. But yeah, we definitely welcome new people to come by on Wednesdays and play with us.
We got a question in the chat about that.
Yes.
Dragon Bait is asking, do we need to bring a character for the pickup games, or do you provide them?
So good question. So everybody starts at first level, and everybody starts with a pregen. Now, there are situations where I allow people to make their own characters, but because of the situation the way it is, all of those characters have to be made in my presence. In other words, you can't bring a character to the game. You have to make one, and I have to help you make it. In other words, you have to do it while I'm with you on the table. So we do set times aside from that, or aside for that, but we don't have any days or times for that currently, and the reason is because I'm not even sure this is going to be popular enough to continue. But we would do that.
I have a question.
Okay, one second. But there are 40 pregens that are already made, and so you can come and look at the list and pick one you like, and then just jump in the game with that. So yeah, go ahead, Alex. I'm sorry.
The prize drawing closed about 15 minutes ago, but I'm not finding the results in the chat.
Yeah, so
Did we actually draw?
No, we didn't. Because I got crazy and won't shut up. So the winner is it's you. It's Alex. I'm not kidding. I drew it and it was you.
Congrats, Alex.
So there you go. So you know what to do. PM me and give me your email and tell me what you want.
That's fine.
I don't know how you did that. That was some kind of magic trick. Hey Rob, could you just go ahead and draw my name? Oh yeah, okay, there you go. It's legit. I pushed the button. So yeah, and thanks for reminding me, by the way, because I might have. Usually Fury's on me about that. She doesn't let me forget. But that
I
show
got
might have.
distracted. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no, I did too, right? Because I'm just yapping, trying to show Chris's stuff and make sure everybody knows about that. By the way, Chris has more Kickstarters and more special projects coming down the pike. So keep your eye out on that. Leroon did we cover both your points? Oh yeah, the other one was the 5e pickups, right? Okay.
Yep.
Anyone else have anything they'd like to share? Anything they'd like to add? Anything at
Show
all?
ideas.
Yeah, Chris, you're welcome. All right. Well, in that case, let me just put up the slides for the end here.
Thanks for everything. Nice.
Yeah,
Enjoyed
absolutely.
the game.
I'm actually gonna say goodbye to my fellow chatters in the chat here, and then I'll go by myself and close the stream. But yeah, thanks for coming and playing in the game, guys. Super fun, and thanks Leroon and Fury for stomaching me every single Sunday of your lives. And and if there's nothing else, I'll say goodbye to you guys, and everyone take care and have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Good night,
See
y'all.
you, Rob. See you guys.
Bye.
All right, so they're still in the chat, but I've turned their voices off. And so for those of you watching the stream, I really appreciate it. Hope you had fun if you stayed for the whole game, or if you just watched this show. If you happen to be watching this show on YouTube and you keep hearing us refer to the game, and you don't know what the hell we're talking about, that should be on YouTube as well, and it will be called FGC Staff Game. Marked November 11th, and so if you are watching this show on YouTube and didn't see that, you can go find out what we're talking about by looking for that video. Again, thanks for everybody for watching and hanging out. I am going to give out end of stream rewards, so anybody that's in the chat right now should get 100, 200, 300 gold. 300. Wow, what happened? What did I do? I clicked that 50 button 6 times. That was crazy. And then I am also going to remind everyone ways that you can support the stream if you so choose. And by the way, thanks for all the follows and the subs and the bits today, guys. I really appreciate it. And if you want to support the stream, one of the ways you can do that is come to our Discord. So I put all the commands in the chat. You can play exclamation, whatever the word is, and it'll give you the links. You can come to my Patreon page. We have levels over there for
I love you, man.
Yeah, I love you too. Dead Hand has just subscribed. Thank you, sir. And you can also subscribe, as Dead Hand just did. If you have an Amazon Prime membership, per chance, you can actually subscribe for free. You can use your Prime membership to subscribe. And you can donate to the channel if you wish. You can go to the DMs Guild and peruse the items I have for sale there. We took a little bit of a look. Actually, today's sales at the DMs Guild, pretty meager. Only 4 items sold. So that's usually not that low on Sundays. But whatever, it's Veterans Day. People are worried about thanking the veterans. So what else? You can also follow me on Twitter if you dare. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel. I do need to get to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, so if you guys are not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please, 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 oh please, go subscribe to my YouTube channel. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put just that link in the chat right now, YouTube. I don't know how to spell it. Y-O-U-T-B-O-O-T-tube. And so good. Celestian wished I would have given everyone 1,000,000 gold. 6 times stream rewards. Fury says, my refund of my currency. Oh, Boffrin, yeah, I'm gonna do your refund right now. Let's go do it. Where is it? Here it is. Deny and refund. Boom, done. Reject. Redemption. Boffrin, you have been rejected. Yeah, and I'm sorry I missed that. The sound is working. That somehow did not ding in my ear. It is working, but I didn't hear it. What the hell? Fury says. Boffrin just subscribed. Yeah, I'm rich. Boffrin has just subscribed to the stream. The Bit Boss is McClancy. Let's see. I'm catching up. Thanks to Fury Fate for supporting the stream with 2 bits. Big spender. And nope, that was Boffrin. Dead Hand, what the fuck? Rob Tui, you need to get new glasses. It was Boffrin. Oh. Did I say something? Did I say Dead Hand subscribed and it was Boffrin? Oh, that's because I looked over. Oh, Boffrin just subscribed. Yeah, it was. Dead Hand checked his gold right between the notifications. That's why I just looked at the name next to the orange print. There's systems here. They aren't perfect. Thank you, Boffrin. Fuck you, Dead Hand. It wasn't you. I love it. It's all good. I stole Boffrin's thunder with the check me. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. I was confused. It was someone else. YouTube. YouTube. UT Boob. That's right. Usually I end the show and you guys don't say much. Now I'm trying to catch up. Yeah, okay. Thanks for Boffrin for supporting the stream with 4 bits. All right, that's going to be it, everybody. This is totally serious. So let's see. Today's Sunday. So tomorrow I will be doing Module Creation Monday. I'll be working on the Fey World as I was last week. As a matter of fact, I never worked on it all since last Monday. Haven't had the time. Wednesday we'll be here with 5e pickup games, and we'll see how that goes. Friday we'll be with Waterdeep. Saturday Roundtable. Sunday back to this. So good. Thanks again, everybody. Really appreciate the support. Good day today. We went for... Well, the stream came on at 2 o'clock with music before the 3 o'clock game, and it's now approaching 8 o'clock, so 6 hours of streaming today. 5 of it real. So good. All right, that's it. I got to get a hot dog or some kind of... I have a snack sitting here that I went and got before the show, and I never opened it. I haven't even eaten. I've just been talking too much. It's a marathon. Keep going. You can do it. I might do like a 24-hour stream one day. What I might do is try and do a thing where I do a 24-hour stream to make money and see if it works. All of these wonderful ideas I have never fucking work. They all fall on their face. It's amazing I'm even still here. But I might do a thing where I do it and then I'll say, okay, if you want me to do another hour, you got to cheer $1 or something. I don't know what I'll do. I could do a 24-hour stream and make $24. That's it. That's all I want. All right. It's Sunday. I got to go. I got to watch all the football games I've taped. And then try and sleep or go outside. And the snow's gone, but it is 30. No, it's 28 degrees. I love it. I love it all. So I'll see you guys all back here next time. And until that time, good gaming, everyone.